from him. This a call to my ancestors. Rid the land of damn settlers. Turn our signs to hand gestures. Whether we feeling immense pressure. Some store each clan better. Planting the devil to stand the weather. It's a must we band together. Put that on Abraham and Esther. From Castilians to conquistadors. Iberians to traitorous Moors. Didn't arrive as friends to us, whether as slavers, invaders, or disguised traders. Missionaries, Islamic Christians with dictionaries. No mutual goal to coexist. Those warships in our tributaries. Military tactics to test shores. Foreigners have no respect for treaties and oath. Why expect more from those who want to conquest except war? They didn't bring women during the invasions. The minds were on rape, miscegenations, the spread of mis and disinformation, which manufactured the miseducation of the soul. Carter G. Washington, Robert Taylor Holmes, Marcy and Brooklyn, projects and hoods where we were pushed in Cali to Florida. Arlie Cushion, it's like the terrorists, never ending shipment of American Indians from Belize to the Caribbean. Gives I shot this sheriff meaning. Shut my field can be read, no book. Flows in my veins were prepared with no hook. Behind the back pass with flair, no look. This beef is rare, get fed, no cook. We're peaceful people, they call us animals. Truth of the matter, they were cannibals. Practice unclean religious rites. Evidence tangible, check the annals. I bring heat, this beast flammable. Feel free to critique this canonical. If your brain's deeply maniacal, release or get treated damnable. You speak Hannibal, I talk black hole. Fighting the line, now the chief's back with bulk. That's big muscle drip. Up to tussle with Uncle Sam, big brother and his clique. I put that on Abraham and Esther. It's a must, we band together. Planting the devil to stand the weather. Sound strong, each clan better. Whether we feeling the man's pressure. Turn our signs to hand gestures. Rid the land of damn settlers. This is a call to my ancestors. Yeah. I'm in my own zone. Within my own home. I'm in my own throne. My own skin, no clone. On long going in for the wind, ozone, 10 toes strong, closed doors are opening, siphoning my own tone, microphoning, my own song, on my own right and my own wrong, my own masters, I'm my own master, in debt to my own loan. I'm in my own zone, within my own home, I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. I'm in my own zone, from the hip to the thigh bone, from the lip to the microphone, I'm like a disciple stone. Yet much larger than this fleshly vessel, more like an architectural lecture with its trestle board. Polished and tougher, I embrace the struggle. Broke free from the dome, I escaped the bubble. They say trust your signs for somebody's line. Try my patience, I'm aligned with Mother Nature, frying these agents that is dying matrix. I'm in my own zone, within my own home. I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. Since 1970. There I was born, Robert Taylor's 92nd Access, Buckingham to one. First Sister Claire Muhammad School, then fellowship, Christian Academy. Just before I went public, still stuck with self adamantly. Spark from the infinite. See the sun, I'm equivalent. The eminent instrument of the eminent, the legit militant. Break it down in increments. Rid the land of immigrant, misogynist and feminist. Restore the innocent. Half-rich of Indians. Round pegs and square holes. Kindred spirits and rare souls. Discard the scarecrows. Better yet, the straw man. Pebble rhetoric of the law man. It was us Europeans saw and ever since squatted on our land. Slaughtered our clans. Chartered our stands, auctioned us through birth certificates, social security, bartered our branch of census, or the doll's rolls, religious books, or lost scrolls. Everywhere we turn, crossroads, to relearn or more, it's most mode. I'm not talking Morse code. Purged the family tree, they infected the bloodlines of the autochthonous Niji, brought with them disease, their pale-faced Slavic Maytags, Gregorian calendar, holidays, turned the rainbow to a gay flag. They made treaties with tribes they recognized federally, ineffably. They were in cahoots with the Iroquois Confederacy. It's my destiny, along with the ancient ones, to return for everything they owe. I don't mean government-sanctioned funds. I got other artistic notions of mine that's high-flown. Because the land's fly blown, look for me in a cyclone. Great spirit, quicken my bones. I'm a true and living soul, son of the great matriarch. My heart glistening gold. Everyone wants to walk in the sun with her, but she'll run to the one who'll dance in the rain for her until it's done. I'm in my own zone, within my own home. I'm in my own throne, my own skin, no clone. On long going in for the wind ozone. 10 toes strong, closed doors are opening. Siphoning, my own tone, microphone, my own song. On my own right and my own wrong. My own masters, I'm my own master. In debt to my own loan. I'm in my own zone. Within my own home. I'm in my own throne. My own skin, no clone. I'm in my own zone. Within my own home. Because the landslide blown, look for me in a cyclone. Microphone, my own song, my own skin, no clone. And that'll still be once them foreigners are long gone. Yo. And I got so much more to say. Yeah. I want peace. It seems that war is coming. I want you feast, yet I can't seem to stomach. I want increase, but in this dream things plummet. So I summon from within. Angels and demons like Dan Brown. If you angling and scheming, stand down. It's arranged scenes, man, scripted, planned out, strange. We understand now how they ran the damn town. Came on land, handed out books, scriptural to literal. But if you question it, they got rid of you. Democrat, Republic, conservative, liberal. Who's ever tune you, same party you attend is political. It's clear, they rather have you vote the queer way. Controls the confusion, using a cavalier sway. Conspiracy theories get them for fear sake. Most what they call history's merely hearsay. You offer salat or pray to them we'll pray. Since a lot of y'all woke, then let's hope this year make the year for a clear break. Angels language, devil's dialogue, anguish used to keep us languid within the tankage. Aim is to ensure we remain in language, brainless with no heart, cowards framed in anguish. This pain is tameless. I've earned the right to set ablaze the day and burn the night. I'm not an L-Bay or day, nor bright burn, but I burn bright. Yearn to fight the lion, done learn to write. What you feed the mind determines the appetite. Vibrate at my highest interference to the satellite. Like I've been little my whole life. Had to fight. Got foreigners and aliens in my battle site. I'm more Anazazi than Nazarite. Most you bloggers are babblers and acolytes. A lot of y'all act alike. Society's in an uproar. Our people still bickering amongst each other as if the world isn't listening. Division is the tradition. I'm using supreme mathematics, subtraction and addition. Thing between Ukraine and Russia, some are still enlisting. It's fictitious corporations, armed forces, and its mission. Not problem solving, but multiplying. Issues in a cult-like fashion. People in bulk dying instead of us unifying. You rather talk slick through an iPhone screen. Disrespectful with the comments with our own memes. Mentality, reality, your cry, moan, scream. Personalities of a Mach 5 drone or clone beam. Wait till y'all out with this next cyclone bring. The Queen Mother's throne king. I'm more enlightened now that I've dropped you. This might shock you, then again it might not. Yet I opt to. You move like how a cop do. I will think outside the box you to stop you. What's a savage to the sacred? You like average, basic. Need more than your tablet and apps to combat with this creative. Deflate the hatred. I give love. If it's not reciprocated, no love lost. Straight my natural state is. And I'm not yet in my prime, y'all. This rhyme's called Angel's Language, Devil's Dialogue. You hit a firewall, the final call. It's your time to fall, my lighter. Blind them all. Lest I be single with no further ado. I bring to you, live and direct, myself, tired as son, Kingo, doing my thing too. So, just know, I remember everything. And I'm coming for anything they owe. For sure. I teach you up.
Let me get something with some feel to it, some funk to it. Come on. I think I like that. Can we get some heavy drums in there? More like Caribbean, soul, Caribbean. Yeah. Yes, yeah. Bounce to this. I'm just a black man, title, yo, you give me that. I like them imports, never push the Cadillac. And would you figure, Mr. Man, why you kicking back with sick plans to get you stacked, making chickens fat? You know you into that, chilling with your timber cat. Intoxicated to the point, past sinful acts. Be very nimble, Jack, or Jill will get a water back. And have your heart broke just like a heart attack. Look where your power at, no, not the Midal Cats. It's deeper than taps and hurricanes and old maps. The spirit flows, so my folks throw daps. Meant for the wise as well as the spoiled rats. So you can fold up or either you can fold back. I hold no judgment over those that have chose crack. Terror over habit that has been proven to hold back. With God on your side, you can get your soul back.
We're going to have a conversation tonight. Subject matter is very
Read on, so we come back a little late.
A
little late. Hey, what's going on, guys?
A
little late.
And we are the only people who have to bring it back. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Oh, this is Mag V. Are y'all subscribed to Mag V? Please go over there and subscribe. Okay? Appreciate it.
Your life and gave you a good time with your man or your woman or your husband or your wife. Have we ever been close to death? Seen loved ones holding on as if there was nothing left. Heart monitor people as you hold your breath. Consider this a blessing and a test and do your best. And what about the test that you took? That you aced when you never did open your book? You were born in the game, yet he meant you were a crook. Promoted at work when prior years you were overlooked. When you caught that big fish, yo, he set the hook. And he changed your life into a proprietor instead of a crook. Huh. When you surprised last year with them charges you shook, being forgiven for the money you took. Here's the hook. Walk friendly when you place your foot. Do you know God? Sisters, tell me.
My God, Turbo, Marcus William. What's going on, beloved? What's happening? What's happening? I'm gonna get this read on. Just give it a few extra minutes, that's all. It's gonna be a good read. I would have kept reading this, but I wanted to keep it at one and then do the little grind my gear thing. Just give it a run. And then I said, when I grind my gear, I can take it to a place where we can start elevating. Because a lot of times I grab people in, whether trolls or whatever. Anybody can be captured, you know what I'm saying? Like a crab net, you know what I mean? And then I said, you know what? We got to get back into reading this because this is paramount and important, you know what I mean? I was smoking like goji berries in here, so it's kind of like off with lavender and you know. Oh, it's all you can make any kind of tea you want, but just be mindful. You know what I mean? Especially if you fast. Because right now, a lot of people have that mRNA in them and they don't know it, and they're feeling some kind of way. They're having blood pressure drops, a little itchy, this, that, and the other. Got to go up here. Your body can do anything. Anything. These demonstrators are ready to confront these law enforcement officers. You have law enforcement having tactical. Oh, that's good. That's good. You know, clearly, right here you can see something else happen there. Another demonstrator threw what appeared to be a large object at one of the SWAT officers. Oh, that's my boy. That Deuce, Dre. So we don't want just a couple minutes of that. It's good enough. Okay, because he be throwing some bangers out there, and I don't want to get, you know what I mean? Like for real. Okay, let's pull it off. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the NEGRO project. The NEGRO project by Bruce Flannery. Margaret Sanger's diabolical, duplicitous, dangerous, disastrous, and deadly plan for so-called Black America. Now this is forwarded by Ron Edwards. All right, be mindful. Okay. It's good to get back into this book, and we're still going to pick up the cliffhangers as far as exposing the exposition and Heaven Bears. We're definitely going to get into that because, like I said, I got to go out and I'll be gone most of the day tomorrow. Okay, and like I said, I just want to give you all the best I can. Everybody's tied into giving information, right? That's how it all started. And there's still non-believers. A lot of times when you see people sharing information. It is for the people who have a hard time acquiescing the truth. I can tell you this: whenever I speak about autochthonous or indigenous, I speak to those who don't know, not to you that do know. I believe that's with every one of us. That's like our brother Paul Cook over in Europe, and a few other good brothers over there, who are showing you geothermal stones and all that other stuff. The old world. He's gone beyond Tartar. He's still in there, but showing you that the old world is a lie, that we're not, they were much more advanced. And he is proving that daily. If you haven't subscribed to our brother Paul Cook, please do. I believe I have him in my description. And there's numerous others. You already know about Cure Meal, and I know his voice not only further gives people sources of information that's beneficial, but he also pushes it beyond the scope of you believing the black is the only ones here. When I keep telling you we weren't the only ones here. I don't dismiss the Mongols. They were here, but not in the narrative and that you see. Like I said, you have to go so deep back to know that the world that they put you in right now is a lie, because all the lands in the medical sense were negroidal, melanated, carbon-based. Other than that, and the history's there. Okay? So the information that I share, you have to step it up. You have to know what you're capable of. And you have to push the envelope and not cheer and joy in it. You have to accept it when you realize it. And don't fabricate anything. There's no need to. And some would say, but how? Well, not by saying how. That's doubt and insecurity. That's insincerity. You need to know it. Okay? They knew what they were doing, and you see how well it worked out? They give energy to something that should have never had energy in the first place. We use energy as a lackadaisy term, all right? It's like called like Bifrost, you know what I mean? I need this. I didn't want it. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get in here. I was waiting for at least 10 to 12 people, because the staff at YouTube, not the third party, but the agents who watch this, like I said, they're not very intelligent. So they're still throttling it for no reason. Other than the fact that my numbers still growing, they have a consistency of inconsistent, ineptitude of effeminate. It doesn't matter if they're female. Effeminate or broken effeminatization or effeminization. Effeminate instability and like men on menopause. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. They're pretty punkish. So when we get started here, I'm gonna play some more music, because I like listening to music while we're waiting. I'm gonna play something different though, if it's all right with you. I mean, not different, but you know, because I like these songs. And some guys got some new music, but they haven't sent them over yet, so it is what it is. And I search, believe me. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, because I kind of like Annals of Z. So anyway, let's turn it down a little bit. Anyway, we're going to be getting into, I'm going to rehash on where we left off at, all right? And we're going to take it right into the most important part that I think that y'all might find. This is about a few paragraphs, okay? And then we're going to take it right on over to chapter 2, a brief history of eugenics. So we're going to give you the foray into how good become dark and how easy it is. We think it's not easy, but when you give yourself over, and you know, to say one sells their soul, that's a cop-out. It's worse than that. But that's what it is with anyone. All right. But you're gonna enjoy it. I think you're gonna like it, because I'm gonna take it back to Margaret Sanger and how she came into this world, like majority of everybody except for very, very few that I'm not here to speak on. Okay. Flagstaff tomorrow. I'm gonna meet a couple people on the way there. Yeah, they're gonna kind of be in certain places. I'll discuss that later. I'm gonna take my radio so I can see if I can queue up. Rather tomorrow, because they came and we didn't even finagle with it. So I hope he puts on a long, and even T, I should be able to key him up as well. But we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I know people are doing stuff, they're working, they're getting things in. Let's go ahead and get it in, because I don't want to keep you up forever. I know it's so-called Wednesday. I saw it when I usually don't look. I just didn't go on my phone, and I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Oh. Anyway, so here we are again at the Negro Project. Margaret Sanger's diabolical, duplicitous, dangerous, disastrous, and deadly plan for Black America. The orthogonist, okay? And I'm going to take it right from here, so that way we can pick it up where we left off. Margaret Sanger did not come into this world as an evil person. No one does. So they say. Not even Hitler, Stalin, or Mao Zedong are evil. Evil like good is a learned behavior. You must remember that. It is learned behavior. Well, people are nurtured into it one way or the other. Okay? Sanger's work as a nurse was based on a genuine desire to do something about the dangerous and often fatal conditions women faced in childbirth. She also wanted to help these women avoid the same fate that befell her mother and very nearly took her own life. This is not to glorify, you know what I'm saying? Not to say, oh, she was a baby one. That's without giving, okay? So be mindful of that, all right? All of which was quite laudable and very commendable. She had the best of intentions, but as the old adage goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And Sanger's racism, her religious bigotry, and her adherence to the ideas of the radical left in the early 1900s, a radical left, all you still voting and you see what you got right now, right? But yeah, liberals in the early 1900s, which have been cited here, okay? As well as her dealings with eugenics, both in the United States and in other countries, all served to effectively destroy whatever good work she performed earlier in her life. Now, by the time the ABCL had changed its name to Planned Parenthood Federation of America, and y'all can look this up, in 1942, the Negro Project was in full swing. Now, y'all do know that during World War II, you know how many of our brothers and sisters, your ancestors, were murdered by this government who served in the Navy, Army, and the Air Corps for nothing but lies? Look it up, okay? That's why I say they better be careful with that censoring with us, especially with Tuskegee. You know what tribe those people were? Do you know what tribe those people in the Tuskegee experiment were? They were a tribe, a nation, recognized. That's why when any Native American, anybody come talking out of pocket, I tell them, look, man, I'll fly you here, bro. We can talk personal. Okay? No emotions, no feelings. I can show you their strength. That's all. Okay. The Negro Project was in full swing, supported and promoted with the unwitting participation of prominent Black Americans from the clergy, whom Sanger had targeted from the outset, academia, health, care professionals, financiers, Rockefellers and all those guys, media, and just about everyone in betwixt. OSS would come CIA, which was also part of the Mossad. Sanger had snookered them so well with her stated goal of helping women to improve their health, and by limiting the number of children. We got parents who had 12 and 20 children, baby. Would do their part in contributing to the financial stability of their families. But the real hidden agenda, though not as apparent at the time, would one day work untold havoc on an entire group of Americans. And for one simple reason, Those behind it saw many of their fellow citizens as inferior, yet we created everything they use, simply because of the color of their skin. This plot was carried off so well, so cleverly, that with the exception of a very few people, no one saw it coming until it was far too late. This is a stark and sad fact with which Margaret Sanger's apologists have yet to come to grips, most of all who refer to themselves as our so-called black leaders. After all, the Negro Project was directed at this segment of the population. Therefore, the onus is on these leaders to demand a full accounting so that the facts surrounding this disgraceful and disturbing chapter in our history can be laid bare for all to see. Only then can the healing truly begin. Now, it has notes, Wikipedia, all the sources, and IBID and everything else, blackgenocide.org, Sangamar, all the things that you would want to see. And I would have listed them in the description, but I keep the same thing that I put there, unless I choose to remove it. Now let's get into chapter 2. Chapter 2, a brief history of eugenics. Eugenics, the movement to improve the human species by controlling heredity. Webster's New World Compact Desk Dictionary and Style Guide, circa 2002, page 168. Yes, recently. Give or take 22 years. All right? Heredity. Y'all do know what heredity is. In this chapter, we will examine the origins of the eugenics movement in the United States, including, which this is not the United States, the corporation's mentality, including those who are prominent in carrying forward the motivations behind their actions and the connections between the eugenics movement and Margaret Sanger's Negro Project. All those poor fetuses, do you know where they went? Varying means of strengthening the race have been used by many civilizations in different forms throughout human history. One example being the practice engaged in by the ancient Greeks, all lies, because it wasn't, Greeks was not a period, which involved abandoning sickly infants on mountainsides to be left to the tender mercies of Mother Nature. This typically involved exposure to the elements and attacks by wild animals, among other things. What was happening is the people that were being conquered, the babies that were undesirable or dark, were being laid to waste. Know the difference. A false history and what could, the Orwellian factor or true history. This typically involved exposure to the elements and attacks by wild animals, among other things. Eskimo tribes in the far north at one time would practice a similar form of eugenics, leaving the sick and elderly on ice floes to meet their fates. That's not how it happened. Again, when Russia came over there and they conquered, and you know the books that exist showing us as the Inuits, the original people. Well, that war too had its degrades and destruction. Their fates. While these are not examples of eugenics as we have come to know it, the goal was the same: to preserve the race or tribe, the new race or tribe, by assuring that its strongest elements are preserved by sacrificing the weakest. They only sacrifice with the, what is it called? The throwaways, the undesirable, as you know of Hindustan. And such forms of mercy killing, as these individuals who call themselves Chinese did to the indigenous population there, who fled, even came back here, knowing exactly where to come. Strongest elements are preserved by sacrificing the weakest, and such forms of mercy killing can be said to come clearly within its scope. Now, mercy killing has taken on a religious doctrine. Pay attention to how things easily flip for the further immersion into perversions. But it wasn't until the advances in genetics that began in the latter half of the 19th century that the notion that it was possible to engineer undesirable traits out of an entire race of people. Cabbage Patch. And who you think were the strongest to wet nurse them? Our forebearers or foremothers. That's right. Wet nurse so many of these light-skinned babies, and they don't have no clue. And one of the promises that they would be left alone and not bothered, which was a lie, as usual. An entire race of people seemed within reach. The work of early genetics like Gregory Mendel and Luther Burbank involved developing hybrid types of plants in an effort to develop strains that were resistant to disease and pests, thereby increasing crop yields and allowing farmers to make better use of their land, which is a lie. It was to further find out ways to kill off the natural nutrients and minerals within foods slowly. Such research, in fact, continuing up to the present day in the field of bioengineering. As you see, there's nothing natural that's in the food that's labeled now, showing you that you really get nothing but waste from the food. And the breakthrough and advances that scientists in the specialty have made have opened up a world of opportunities for poor and developing nations to feed their increasingly hungry populations. Based on the truth, but we all know what's happened. Eugenics, however, involved much more than the development of new strains of plant life. Much more. It involved the bioengineering of human beings, ostensibly to fight the spread of disease, and a whole host of other maladies common to the human condition. If it was argued these undesirable traits could somehow be eliminated through the use of scientific means, the human race would be healthier, happier, more productive, and would be possessed of longer lifespans in the process. That's for the select. This was all well and good. Excuse me. And the study of genetics has indeed brought about many beneficial results for humanity, and very few, usually those subscribers to the discredited theories of Thomas Malthus, can argue that less disease, a longer lifespan, and more productivity are bad things. Control, besides the fact that they took the most important of our mineral waters, and there's still some around, you just don't know where they're at. And our crystal chambers, our organs. They took everything to which prolonged life and chopped down the greatest of our trees. Now you know the reason why your melanated skin breathes oxygen. It literally creates oxygen. If you don't believe me, go and look it up. And if these undesirable traits were confined only to such things as disease, early deaths, and birth defects, that would have been one thing. However, many proponents of eugenics were not prepared to stop there. They expanded their definition of undesirable to include the weak, the mentally disabled, those who belong to other races, etc., and argued that these individuals were imposing an undue burden on the fitter, healthier elements of society. Come to learn, the majority of fact checkers aren't medical. They deal with books that are based on lies, and everything that they fact check, they're wrong about 90% of the time. They don't have doctorates, degrees, and nothing. And the ones that profess and claim they do, well, you all know about that, which is very recent history. There's a reason why people have resumes and then are sitting in a smaller office and ask their very deeply desirable questions. Oh, that's hot. Jamil Samshi, what's going on, beloved? Jonathan Whitefield, what's happening? What's going on, beloved? How y'all doing? I just want to greet everybody as they come in. Let's go ahead and pick up Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. Mr. William Cooper, you know what happened to him in Arizona. Excellent book. I'm glad to get back into it because we need to get through the Constitution. I know a lot of you are like, huh? You just have to. Because it's very important. Because then we'll get to the story of Jonathan May. And I believe some of you have recently been hearing about Jonathan May. This elaborates on Jonathan May deeply. Okay? Just like the CIA operatives who were dismissive, or like COINTELPRO, and dismissive of the UFO until it would come paramount to the time that they needed the, how would you say it, to meet an agenda. And now you see they're pushing it. But if you listen to the people in Ecuador and the special forces who were down there, as far as contractors, and they would say, we came upon things that we thought that were actually man-made vehicles. These individuals had these jet things they could fly on, and their weapons, looking the same, performed differently. And there's pictures. Section 8. Now, if you remember, this is before we get into Article 8, all right, which is the judicial branch. And this right here is based on the regulatory branch. And though you don't see no regulatory or regulations being adhered to, otherwise you would have more security at bridges, which you don't have. But the regular citizens, so-called citizens, aren't aware that they can take up arms and post themselves at the bridges. Even bring boats out there to defer. But nobody knows the truth because nobody is actually living in the appropriate time. They're living by fictional laws, or overstepped government with too many individuals in there, not knowing really what's going on. But right before you see everything that's happening. So let's pick it up. Section 8. The charters of enterprises may be revoked. And listen, the charters of enterprises may be revoked. And authorities may be dissolved by the regulatory. With the concurrence of the board. If they restrict the production of goods and services or controls of their prices. So when they were out there burning up farms and animals, you would have thought that these farmers and them would have took up arms and had everybody around them. And those who are with badges, to marshals and sheriffs, say, we're deputizing 1,000 people. We need to protect this farm and put them in the fields and in the high plains. It would have never happened unless if it was an insider, would have been caught. But because of the light-skins' ignorance, they believe they're in control and powerful, negate irresponsibility because they think militia is only for fighting the government. The militia is to protect all things of this soil. And I'm grateful that there are several new militias that have a mixture of all individuals. Even migrants who are fighting against migrants they know are no good. Anyway, if they restrict the production of goods and services or controls of their prices, also if external costs are not assessed to their originators, or if the ecological impacts of their operations are deleterious. How many acres was burnt in Texas of grazing? Y'all really don't know the effect and the harm that has done because you don't further read, because they're not talking about it in the goofy news media. Now, I'm not saying stop watching the media. The last thing you want to do is give them another upper arm so they can bring in a fake UN, which the UN shouldn't exist. Those would be literally your enemies, and they're already here training. Section 9. Operations extending abroad shall conform to policies notified to the regulatory by the president. Now, remember, I'm not here to stop it. I think it's great. I know it sounds sick to say that, but it's just a fact. It's great to me. Anyway, president, and let me read that again. Operations extending abroad shall conform to policies notified to the regulatory by the president, and he shall restrict or control such activities as appear to injure the national interest. This bastard hasn't protected nothing because it's part of an agenda. So he's not really a bastard. It's just Biden doing his thing, whichever one it is. Okay? Section 10. Because that's what's the gas price, $1.99, all of a sudden to $3 and $5 and $6 and $7 in California. Nothing's protected. Section 10. The regulator shall make rules for and shall supervise marketplaces for goods and services, but this shall not include security exchanges regulated by the Chancellor of Financial Affairs. How about the fact that the Chinese have the nerve, or the government, to use a pesticide they banned using even on their soil here, and they just signed a law in Ohio or Iowa that protects them from causing deformities and mutations within American citizens? Why is nobody sitting there going up and telling those people with a lynch mob, you got to go now? I'm just asking. It seemed like it was no problem for this federal government to let it happen to our people on this land that is ours. When up until 1940, we still made up 51% of the population, 52%. And they tried to hold us at 13% and some makeshift stuff nonsense in the 60s, which was a pure fabricated lie to discourage, to make one psyop. Even now, we're still not, we're at least, how do you take 75, 80 million of us out of 300 million of so-called Americans and make us 11% of the population? Well, that's right, because we're so busy killing one another. Excuse me. Anyway, goods and services, but this shall not include security exchanges regulated by the Chancellor of Financial Affairs. So see what the Chancellor of Financial Affairs just takes care of or deals with. Section 11, designation of enterprises affected with a public interest. Rules for conduct of enterprises and of their authorities and other actions of the regulator or of the boards may be enterprises and of their authorities, and other actions of the regulator or of the boards may be appealed to the Court of Administrative Settlements, whose judgment shall be informed by the intentions to establish fairness to consumers and competitors and stability in economic affairs. Section 12. Responsible. Also to the regulator, there shall be an operations commission appointed by the regulator, unless the Senate objects, for the supervision of enterprises owned in whole or in part of by government. The commission shall choose its chairman, and he shall be the executive head of a supervisory staff. Now, what it's not saying here is as long as the people vote and decree it so, and have knowledge as to the individual, their background, and what are the interests. Because not all are suited or fit for the jobs they're in, as you see today. He may require reports, conduct investigations, and make rules and recommendations concerning surpluses or deficits. Now, the absorption of external costs, standards of service, and rates of prices charged for services or goods. Each enterprise shall have a director chosen by and removable by the commission, and he shall conduct its affairs in accordance with standards fixed by the commission. Now, they should be having these kind of conversations in your community courthouse meetings. For those of you who have chosen to take it upon yourself to go and see these things. All right. I'm just saying, this is just something that's there and it's not a secret. Okay. A secret means nobody knows, right? So secrets, obviously, I have no clue about. These are the things that y'all should be utilizing. And you have seen some videos, 2A and the Gay Agenda. You've seen those, but all of them are public. And there are many of them. And a lot of times, your city council, unless you have the YouTube channel or another way, Zoom or something like that, to be able to watch the meetings and then know that there are get notifications when they happen, so that way you can go and sit in there. And when you have listened to enough and been there enough times, and you can compile something and know a little further into the politics of things, then you can address things. The problem is don't go on emotional and all Philly. Okay? Just don't. Now, I speak on behalf of our land. Now, all the things they're doing, I mean, hey, if you want to take a portion of your land, Washington, D.C., which they actually have control over somewhat, then go ahead and do what you're doing. The problem is it's affecting everybody here. I don't respect secret societies. And there are people in them who I respect, but I don't respect secret societies because, like I said, Margaret Sanger didn't come into this world bad and evil, or whatever terms you want to use. You know how I am with this language. Next, we'll begin to the judicial, if I'm correct. Sure. Section 8, right? Yeah, we'll be getting into the judicial branch, which is pretty interesting. Okay? So, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on, man? You didn't hear me jamming your tunes, man. I was rocking them bad boys. Anyway, I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen. And those who stood long enough, there's a lot more information I want to share out of those books. But like I said, we'll continue with baby steps with that, because that's just this information based on our past history and the things that affiliate or affect you. You have an affiliation with or affect you today until you learn otherwise. You dig what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. It's going to be 5 something, so it's going to be a late read because I want to get the Heaven Bearers cliffhanger in at least a few paragraphs. We got like a few more chapters, and exposing exposition. So I'm looking at around 7:37. All right, so I'm coming back on to read. And if you don't get it tomorrow and check it out. Check it, because I will be going on to read. All right. So again, appreciate y'all. I know a lot of people aren't getting the notifications because, as I stated in the beginning, they need to relax, take a chill. I'm no threat to these motherfuckers. None whatsoever. Anywho, catch y'all around then. That's the wrong time because, I don't do time. So I think that's off by about 10, 5, I don't know. So we're looking at about 2 hours or so. Okay. See y'all then. What's up, Bubba?